A sunrise is God's way of telling the world to lighten up. Happy Saturday and welcome to Breakfast with Barry Lee, the podcast. My guest on today's podcast is my cousin Carl. It's Cherish an Antique Day. You're not going to believe what he found at a yard sale. Right now, it's the Brain Buster. When it comes to our health, 44% of us do not tell the truth about this. We fib about what? A, how much exercise we get. B, about taking our medication daily. Or C, how often we floss. Your answer coming up in just minutes. Looking at the podcast planner, nationaldaycalendar.com, today is National Former Prisoner of War Recognition Day. This day honors the courageous men and women who have endured brutal treatment at the hands of their captors. Since the Revolutionary War, over 500,000 service members have been captured, and this number doesn't reflect those lost or never recovered. So today we recognize these heroes. Today is also Name Yourself Day. If you've ever wondered what it would be like to have a different name, this is the day to find out. And it's also National Unicorn Day. The unicorn, a popular mythical creature since ancient Greek times, once considered to be fierce, powerful animals. But today, we see them as symbols of love, purity, enchantment, and magic. Although I did see a t-shirt that said, "I wish I was a unicorn, then I could stab stupid people with my head." Okay. And today is National Cherish an Antique Day. There's a lot more to antiques than just a dollar sign. There's a story behind our family heirlooms. Write down those stories and better yet, attach or tuck them with the treasure. So on National Cherish an Antique Day, I thought who better to call about antiques than my cousin Carl Bernhards, who lives in Middletown. Ever since Carl was a teenager, he's been fascinated by antiques. He's had businesses. As a matter of fact, he has a business right now that has to deal with estate sales and so forth. But Carl, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Barry. Cousin Barry.
Well, out of all the years that you've been antiquing and treasure hunting, we're going to share an incredible story. But before we do that, a word about your company and what you do now.
Sure. I now have a estate liquidation company, Shenandoah Valley Auctions, where if you are downsizing or moving away, I can come to the house, take a picture of everything, do a description, and sell everything online. My auctions are on site and online, and that way nothing has to be packed or moved. It just stays right where it is, and you just leave behind what you're not going to move with, and I can sell the rest.
There was a story years and years ago about somebody that bought a paint-by-number painting, and on the back of that, inside the frame, was like a copy of the Declaration of Independence. So when people go yard sailing or go to flea markets, in the back of our minds, not only are we reconnecting with things from our past, but we're also thinking, you know what, I might find some incredible treasure. You've done this for years, and you've got to share the story of what happened to you fairly recently.
Yes. On the Route 11 yard crawl, I was crawling along Route 11 down through the Shenandoah Valley looking for antiques and treasures, and I saw an antique frame that had a mirror in the front, and I noticed it had a painting canvas and structure in the back. So I bought it, didn't think much about it until I got it home, and I thought, well, let me just see what kind of painting is behind this mirror. And I took the nails out that was holding it, and I told myself, don't be a basket of flowers. Don't be a basket of flowers, because that's usually what is on a painting behind the mirrors. But this one happened to have a memorial painting to George Washington. The painting itself is of a large American eagle looking very sad, and there are clouds, and there's a profile of George Washington in repose. He's laid back with his eyes shut. The sun is setting in the background, which was kind of made famous when Benjamin Franklin passed away, I believe about 20 years prior to George Washington. And they did paintings with the sun setting on America, just a symbol of a time of change, because the sun was setting on America, and the same thing with the eagle looking very sad and somber. And it was just a time of sadness for all of America when the first president of the United States passed away. And the painting was done around 1802. George Washington passed away in December of 1799, and I was able to get some interest from Mount Vernon, and I subsequently took it to the Antique Roadshow and had it appraised, and I still have it today.
How were you able to determine that the painting was, number one, an original, and the fact that it came from, what was the year, 1802?
About 1802, the painting actually had little rolled up pieces of newspaper used to tighten the canvas to the stretcher, and was able to extract one of those little rolled newspapers out. And on there were two key words. And those two key words on this tiny little half-inch roll of newspaper that wasn't brittle had the words Emperor and Napoleon. And he had made himself the emperor right around the 1802 time frame.
Wow. So did you have to have, like, the oil and the actual canvas and everything tested?
No, because you can just see the oxidation of the wood frame on the back, the original square head handmade nail in the back. And there is a signature, and they did put George Washington in the clouds. They signed it. Interestingly enough, I did have a handwriting expert say that he believes that the painter was a woman. You can't really read what the first name is. It was just, I believe, just an initial.
Okay. So what was it like taking this to the Antique Roadshow?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Since it wasn't too big, I was able to keep it in a suitcase, bubble wrapped up. And I showed it to one of the appraisers. They then took me down to the Americana table where there were three dealers, and all three had a varying appraisal for the actual painting, which ranged anywhere from $3,000 up to $16,000 between the three different top Americana dealers.
And you just missed getting on the TV show, right? I mean, I realize they can only take so many, but you almost got on there.
Right. They did go ahead and film a segment with me and the painting, and I was all excited and ready for it to be aired. There was a 3-hour show that was made from that particular location where we were doing the Antique Roadshow, but it never aired. Not yet. There's still a chance they may do some little segments of it, and I could get a chance. So we'll see.
And so right now, as far as Mount Vernon goes, they're interested, but it's just sort of on hold.
Correct. It's just on hold. They are concentrating right now on items that actually were in the house and not items that are of or about George Washington and made after his death. There was not actually paintings hung in the house during his time. But there may be a time they'll call me and say they're ready for it.
Well, Cousin Carl, finding a painting done in 1802, an original about George Washington, found on the back of a mirror, that one's going to be hard to top, huh?
Absolutely. I don't think I'm going to find anything else behind an old mirror. Probably not in my lifetime. I hope to. I'm always looking. I'm always hoping. You just never know.
Absolutely. That's what keeps us going back, right?
Absolutely. It's the thrill of the hunt of those great antiques that are hidden in a box or in a drawer. You just never know.
Never know. All right. Carl Bernhards, thanks very much for being with us on Cherish an Antique Day. See you at the reunion.
We'll see you there, Barry. Thank you so much, and you have a great day.
Celebrity birthdays for this 9th day of April. Kristen Stewart turns 32, Dennis Quaid is 68, Leighton Meester is 36, and Jesse McCartney turns 35. The TV show Parks and Recreation premiered on this day, 2009. Local celebrities, happy birthday to Sherry Iser, Keisha Washington, Ryan Oates, Debbie Torrance, and Pamela Weber. To you. Pencils down, how'd you do on the Brain Buster? When it comes to our health, 44% of us do not tell the truth about this. About what? Is it A, how much we exercise, B, if we're taking our medications daily, or C, how often we floss? And the answer is C, how often we floss. And you know our hygienist knows. Thank you for being here on the podcast. Let me know when your birthday is. My email's at the website breakfastwithbarrylee.com. And on Cherish an Antique Day, I share this bumper sticker. I'm an antique addict on the road to recovery. Just kidding. I'm on the road to an antique store. Blessings.